Live your fantasy life has been Mabinogi's slogan for as long as I can remember. And when I think of fantasy life, surprisingly enough, the first thing that comes to mind isn't the crazy amount of customization you have over your character. It's actually an older, now obsolete feature that was at the time Mabinogi's probably most standout feature. Let's talk about the housing channel. The home market was a series of unique channels that players could use to access the 4 residential areas within Mabinogi. These were essentially full-on neighborhoods within the game itself, where players could set up shop, customize their home, or bid on real estate. The only barrier to entry would be having enough gold to own property, and of course, being a subscriber to Mabinogi's premium service. Interestingly enough, owning property did in fact come with a tax as well, that was determined by whichever guild happened to own the castle at the time, a feature that would later be relegated to Nexon controlling the prices themselves. Now I can only speculate as to why this change was made, as back in the day, it was widely believed that the guilds wealthy enough to govern the land did sell via unsavory means, making it all but impossible to outbid them for the castle. These were merely rumors and speculations that vary from server to server, the more likely reason being that with the addition of Auction House, this is a feature that was simply going obsolete and needed to be automated, bringing to a close a very unique chapter in Mabinogi's history. I mean, think about it. How many MMOs allowed guilds to have that much power over entire neighborhoods of players? It was kind of cool. I was curious about what other players may think about the current state of the housing market, so I decided to interview them and get their own thoughts personally.
The fact that it's a separate channel on its own, they should have made it just like any other normal map and not make it a separate channel, because one time it was so bad that people couldn't get out the housing channel because it was glitched, and people who were in the housing channel could not escape the housing channel. It was so bad. I remember this a couple years back. I left one of my characters there. I'm just like, I was stuck there until maintenance, and my brother was, I think, I wasn't living with my brother at the time, and I think he was stuck in the housing channel too. He's like, bro, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. We can't get out of there. The channel like busted or something. It crashed, or I don't know. It's just very glitchy. But I think in order to save it, they should make it free. By now, if Auction House is free, they should make housing free too. Because housing, you can set your item there and just don't worry about it. That's what people paid for. But ever since they released Auction House, which is already free, because that beats paying for a house, you know?
Yeah.
Paying for service and paying for a house. So what's the point of having housing now? They need to figure something out about that, or make it free, because people can just go inside their homestead houses now. People finally got what they wished for. We can summon pets. We can summon pets in our homestead. We can go pay for a lease. I got VIP, so my house is unlocked automatically. The house in my homestead, yeah. So what's the point of a housing now? And the auction house works so much more efficiently than housing.
I think the housing channel was inherently doomed to fail. It cost way too much to be able to get a house. It made it to where normal people couldn't sell stuff without buying a personal shop and staying online for 8 hours. I don't think there is a reason to save it, other than making it like the homestead where every player gets one. Having it be in a way where you have to pay to be able to use it, whether that's in-game gold or real-life money, is going to make it difficult for new players, because Mabinogi is still concerned about getting new players. And they've done a very good job about making new players feel welcome in this game, because this game, as you know, has gone through many iterations of how it works just on a base level. And so I think the housing channel is just a relic of one of those old eras.
Auction house, that's it. In the story. That's what killed it. Duh. The early version of the auction house and the homestead. And that's what the housing channel was. And they got replaced by both of those things, so they're way better. To be honest, I should just delete it.
Just get rid of it. Just throw it all away.
Don't need it. You got the homesteads, and you got the auction house. What do you need it for? What do you need the housing channel for? It's honestly better because honestly, the way people sold stuff back in the day, you could be kind of liable for harassment. Say you were selling like something super expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy wanted it, but you didn't want to sell it to him because you didn't like his offer or anything like that. So what do you do then? You just keep bothering him and you like harass him because he has this item you want, and you know that he has this item because you can see it in his house that has your name on it. But with the auction house, the great thing about it is that it's anonymous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get that. You're not subjected to that harassment that you would have in the housing channel. Albeit it was probably it might have been rare or anything like that, but it was still like the possibility was still there. Like, sure, you may like the idea of housing and like neighborhoods, but to other people, they just kind of like want to be by themselves. So their homestead is a nice place where they can just AFK or do nothing, and they can close it off or open it however much they like.
With the addition of things like homesteads in the auction house, it's safe to assume that the home market is just basically obsolete. And I'm not going to argue that it's not, because it is. The home market is essentially a graveyard, a ghost town within the game itself. And I feel like with features like auction house and homesteads, these quality of life changes that were much needed and everybody loves, myself included, it is a little sad to think that the novel charm of having actual neighbors in Mabinogi, joining a guild and aspiring to own the castle and govern the land, seeing people have portraits of themselves hanging on their doors, it's kind of gone now. And you can still walk through it and see like the shadow of what once was. It's really weird. It's almost eerie, actually, going through the home market channel now. Will it ever come back to what it once was? I doubt it, but you never know. Anyways, I'm Mobby Nerd, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. In Mabinogi, your fantasy life can be pretty unpredictable. You're bound to cross paths with many people from many places, all with their own stories, their own experiences. This is Going the Extra Mile. Hailing from Seattle, Washington, meet Toppings.
I started back in 5th grade. I'm like, well, first I was just trying to find some game that just fit me, and I tried so many RPGs and MMOs, and then someone introduced me to Mabinogi, and at first I thought, what the heck is this game? You know, at first I wasn't really into it, and then like a year later, some other guy brought me back into the game, and I've been playing ever since. I'm from Washington, Seattle. I'm currently a sophomore in college, going for graphic design and entertainment arts. You know, I'm currently developing this one game with a crew. Basically, I'm just creating a lot of art-related projects, comics, games, animations, videos, all that sort of. So, basically, I'm in the artistic field.
Tell me a little bit more about that game. I see you put videos up of it every now and then in the art section, and it looks really good so far.
Thanks. It's your classic murder mystery game. It's like a single-player, story-based. Basically, you decide how the game ends. It's just you trapped in a high school with like a bunch of other students, and I know it sounds like this other game called Danganronpa, but this game is more. You can do what you want. The game can end just by standing still. Obviously, you'll get a bad ending, but basically, it plays into the classic horrors like Scream, Halloween, Friday 13th. Basically, you decide what type of character you want to be in this experience. You're not tied to going in a certain direction. You're not tied to interact with certain characters. You can do what you want. If you want, you can even be the killer.
What keeps you playing Mabinogi?
What keeps me in Mabinogi is just the people, like everybody's interesting, It's like you invite somebody to the game and you're thinking, oh, they're gonna probably go with the main classic, oh, I want to be an OP mage because they're generally more overpowered. But no, they want, people develop their own fighting style. Like some people will combine like puppetry and gunslinger. martial arts and mage, and some people even combine like all the classes together. That's what I find amazing, you know? It's the people that get me back into the game.
What's your advice to someone just stepping into the world?
Join the Neo server now. Join Alexina. We need more players in Alexina. It's a ghost town, okay? Like, I want to be able to run Pika or the other dungeons that are coming out, not have to deal with like these overly, like, they're so in it for themselves type of players, you know? Like, oh, when we get to the final boss, I want to take most of the damage, or I want to go in there and take a final kill. We need more, like, generally faithful players. So if you're going to come into the game, join Alexina, and if you're going to start the game out, at this point in the game, ask for help. Get a mentor. Get somebody to help you out. People will help you out. Because, believe it or not, we need more players into this game. Your life, this is your night to shine.